Yes, we are here for episode 7 for the toe-to-toe fight show with Mark and Matt Nolan. What is up, dude?
Like your shirt. I haven't seen that one
yet. I like my shirt too. This is a gift. Actually, all my clothing's a gift from people at the gym. This is from Ashley K. This is a Christmas gift. It's a horror movie, people drinking coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. And this is from Guatemala, from Pablo. Yeah. I think your shirt looks really cheap and free. Yeah, so as far as the show's concerned, Rob, what are we starting with this week?
I think we should do some rabbit punches.
Rabbit punches right off the bat. There's so much to talk about in terms of just dirty, dirty rabbit punches this week.
We can start with Nurmagomedov bank account is seized by Russian tax authorities due to $3 million in debt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Connor claps back. If you see him, tell him push-ups for cash.
There's a little bit to look at here. First of all, the fact that Nurmagomedov, or whatever his name is, dude.
Over 20.
I mentally prepared to say his name this week, and now I'm just going to call him Khabib. I'm done, dude. I'm done. So anyways, first off, the fact that he's in debt is wild because he obviously made an incredible amount in his UFC career.
Yep.
Right? And then the jab, the subtle jab, because Rob had to remind me. So Khabib and his brother, early on in his career, like pre-UFC, pre-even probably MMA, they're in like the streets of Russia or Dagestan, what have you, and they're like challenging these homeless people to do push-ups for cash. So Connor, being just the absolute mental assassin that he is like, push-ups for cash.
As much as he's lost a step, he's still just like diabolical behind a computer.
He's an assassin.
Yeah.
But here's one question that I have for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like any of this stinks at all?
What, like?
Think about it.
Oh, I just tinfoil had it. Think about it,
no,
dude.
I'm serious.
No, I think that...
Anything in the news lately about the guy?
Yeah, I think they're very likely heavily involved with organized crime.
Yes.
I think they're mutually exclusive.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean, like I don't have an ear to the ground on organized crime in Dagestan, but
all these guys, like who's Blade? Who's my dude Blade?
Wesley Snipes.
Why do these famous people with all this money pay taxes?
Don't pay taxes.
Yeah, why don't the fucking guys pay taxes?
Because if you don't pay taxes, you have more money.
That always seemed confusing to me. So you get these guys like, I understand why.
I like you pick mental juggernauts like Wesley Snipes. Who,
what I meant was he's just another great example.
And they needed the CGI eyeballs on him for Blade 3.
If you guys haven't
how does a guy
looked
like
that,
Wesley Snipes not pay his
because
taxes?
He's another awesome human being that was like, you know what I'm gonna do with $100 million is keep all of it, and not pay just fucking the couple million of taxes.
But they all again. So not for nothing, a lot of these guys don't have a lot of money growing up, and they're like, hey, we're going to give you millions of dollars without
You're telling me Nurmagomedov didn't have a ton of money in the mud huts in Dagestan?
What about like Antoine Walker, who's like, I'm going to gamble like Michael Jordan.
No, that's bullshit. He paid his taxes. He just paid everyone else's taxes too.
What I'm saying is I'm talking about being reckless with money to begin with. So like MC Hammer's like, oh yeah, like I have like Hammer don't hurt me, and I'm gonna.
You're using terrible examples. You're talking about guys that are reckless with money. What I'm talking about is guys that like
not paying millions of dollars in taxes. Just so you know, in the big scheme of reckless or not reckless with money, I file that under reckless with money. I don't know. I don't think that's a huge jump. Anyway, so Khabib $3 million in debt. So let's, regardless of like the circumstances, let's say that that's legit.
Yeah.
If you're Khabib, what do you do? Because there's so many options, and that's what I like.
I'm calling my friend Conor McGregor and be like, hey, dude, do you mind maybe helping me out with this one?
So so my thing is, so there's a few things.
He can't sell whiskey.
That's what you literally can't sell alcohol. Like he's not going to do an OnlyFans. So
it'd be the most boring OnlyFans ever.
It just takes back.
Wow, dude. He just wrestles bears. He's like, yeah, shake that bear.
But yeah, like, so
anybody?
If you
shake that bear?
Enough. Don't.
Okay.
Anyway, if you're Khabib, do you take a big money actual fight in the UFC? Do you take a garbage Abu Dhabi grappling fight? Do you take a celebrity boxing fight? Do you become a ambassador to some organization like Bellator?
Back up all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just because you owe $3 million in taxes doesn't mean you don't have $3 million.
I'll tell you right now, Khabib probably doesn't have $3 million.
I don't know, man. Does he seem like a guy that lives like a lavish lifestyle?
No, but like, you know that a lot of these guys that even at the top of the UFC, they make millions. They don't make tens of millions.
He might have, dude.
He might have.
Well, slightly out of the box take.
Yeah.
He the article said Russian bank account seized. So if he
if he has multiple,
he had some not in that country,
Oh, and maybe it was like 3 million rupees, so that might just be like a ham and cheese sandwich.
That's
too,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
You
Like,
know what I mean?
yeah.
That might have just been like
we can check the couch cushions here
like
and
a
see if we can
skunk
help
hat,
them out. Yeah,
you know.
skunk hat. That's
Well, I'm just being. I don't. We
That
talked
one
about
landed.
my geography skills. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. You know. What do we got next for our Rabbit Punches? Who's up? Who's up next on deck? Who else is getting it?
Mike Perry says he's going to put his nuts in Jake Paul's mouth.
Well, that's just mean.
But my
you know?
thing is, like, he's substantially shorter than Jake, so I think the acrobatics involved in order to put his nuts
pretty
there.
agile.
I still think Jake's gonna fuck him up, and I'm a huge Mike Perry as a fighter, separate the art from the artist fan.
That is such a careful take, and I appreciate
That is a
the
safe-
aerobatics
Yeah,
that you took.
yeah.
Say that whole thing again.
Acrobatics.
Oh my fucking god.
The
dude.
aeronautics that you took in.
All right, but anyways,
Yeah, like Mike Perry the fighter, I do enjoy.
here's a hot take.
Yeah.
Mike Perry putting his nuts in Jake Paul's mouth is the least offensive thing Mike Perry's ever said to anybody. I feel like maybe he was in a really good mood.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what elicited that response. The fact that it didn't cause Mike Perry just to sucker punch someone at Denny's is pretty good.
But Mike Perry, because a lot of these guys that fight like Jake Paul and stuff, well, Chael and Anderson, when you talk about like circus fights, they were hyping up the fight. They were both selling it. Perry's not.
Early on, though, I mean, Anderson Silva literally hated Chael. Like, he was going to kill him.
I'm talking about the most recent boxing match where they played patty cake and
Of
made
course.
millions of dollars.
But Jake Paul probably is just fucking with Mike Perry and he's having fun and stuff. But Mike Perry, like, he doesn't have that, like, type of mentality.
That's what I'm saying.
He
This
can't
isn't like,
navigate it.
yeah, he's not. He's like, oh, you said reckless shit. I'm going to say reckless shit and fuck you.
Like, you have to, again, if you see the video with, like, before he signed with Bare Knuckle, he was still, I think, on the UFC roster.
The Julian Lane.
Julian Lane was like, hey, pussy or something. He just ripped off his headphones and just jumps in and just starts spiking
we
elbows in his head.
we,
We're like,
we had,
holy
we
shit.
had the opportunity to sit and kind of hang with Julian Lane. He's the nicest dude.
Dude.
Like, really is like a genuinely nice guy.
Kind of articulate. Like,
Yeah.
he's not, like, I know, let me bang, bro. And
But
he's
he's
crying
like,
on
yeah,
TV, super
blackout
drunk,
drunk.
whatever,
Yeah,
dude.
it happens
He
to the
was
best of us.
fucking awesome.
Nicest dude.
The best guy I met personally on
In
the whole
BKFC.
Yeah, the whole circuit there.
Yeah.
So for him, he probably was just like thinking like, okay, here's a big name.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Mike Perry, like, let's fight down the road. Mike Perry was like, I'm
On site.
I'm gonna fucking kill you now. It was
Yeah.
like Julian Williams probably like, what?
Well,
Why?
yeah,
Why the
that's
hell
not-
did you
yeah,
do that?
yeah.
That was a crazy thing to do. So Mike Perry probably will try to take his testicles and put them in Jake Paul's mouth at some point, if he can. Again, he's kind of short.
Yeah.
So the
if he drops him, and he can do like a whole
Yeah.
tea bag, like a Gonzo mask.
Wow, or a Roman helmet.
Roman helmet. There you
Roman
go.
helmet.
Yeah.
Yes. Trojan helmet.
I don't
I
know.
can't remember.
Yeah.
I've been out of college for a
Google
while.
that, guys.
Yep. So, yeah. So I would say that's an actual threat. I believe that he is actually going to try to put his testicles in Jake Paul's mouth. And Jake Paul,
What's the line, Rob? Is there a line on
is there
that?
a line on putting balls in mouth? Can you find the
betting odds?
Does DraftKings have Jake Paul eating Mike Perry's balls? Is that no line on
okay.
that? Okay.
I'm not seeing that here.
No, okay, that's fine. It's pretty early, so
Yeah.
sometimes those lines come out a little bit later.
Ryan Garcia escorted out of arena for fighting fans after his brother lost his fight.
In terms of Ryan Garcia attacking fans in the crowd after his brother lost. Another example of the least crazy thing Ryan Garcia has done in recent
Did you
memory.
hear about the circumstances?
I can't tell if you're being serious. The
So
face
when-
you're making, yeah, it's a fucking fake.
When he
All right,
fought
great.
the guy in the crowd,
Yeah.
got overturned because Ryan Garcia missed weight. and
that's
tested
very
positive.
good. That's very good.
Yeah.
That's very clever.
Who's he?
So I have no doubt that Ryan Garcia's started a fight in the crowd. I would imagine. Now this is me speculating. I have no evidence that he might have been intoxicated when this occurred, and I'm judging that or basing that rather on the fact that Ryan Garcia recently had apologized for being intoxicated on a live stream in which he used a litany of. It was not that he used a slur.
No, so
He
real
used all
quick,
of
hold on. Let's back
Yeah.
it up. So I hit up Matt and I'm like, hey, did you read what Ryan Garcia said? He said like X, Y, and Z. And Matt's like, oh, au contraire. Did you hear it? Because it's infinitely fucking worse than what you just said.
The fact that so because I read an article on it and it was like. So the first article I saw actually was Ryan Garcia's parents apologizing, and it was like Ryan recently used, verbiage, terminology, whatever, that's like unbecoming, and like we don't adhere to that in our family values. We apologize, right? And I was like, oh, it's got to be bad, right? Because his fucking dad told Eddie Hearn to suck his dick when he was like in a good mood, right? So from there, I was like, okay. And then it's like a Yahoo article, USA Today, whatever, and it just says he uses like the N word, right? I'm like, that's not good. It is. So if you haven't heard it, you don't know.
Yeah, if name an affinity group, he called them out.
He eviscerated them. So he's so wildly intoxicated and slurring his words and shit, right? So
one thing he said. So one thing he posted after the fact, and listen, we'll talk. So he said he's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to rehab. He did say that. I don't even know if you fucking delete. I'm not fucking with you. So it's a combination of a billion things. Also, like in the last 24 hours, his thing right now
is still not awesome.
No, he has this weird, is Eminem gay?
He's still homophobic. He's like
retweet if Eminem is gay. It's just like such a bizarre, like, and
it's like
it's 100 posts about Eminem being gay. It's not even like being like just homophobic. It's directed toward Eminem. Like, what's going on?
The things that I heard, I couldn't even listen to the whole thing. So it's hard R N word, which is wild.
I heard Islamophobic stuff.
Islamophobic, like
anti-Semitic stuff.
Anti-Semitic, homophobic. Everything.
But the George Floyd thing was crazy. To the point that like we probably won't repeat that one.
I won't repeat any of this shit. The point is this. It was so, and the way I'll liken it is that you and I both champion our sobriety to a degree, right? And I don't like fucking throwing in people's faces because that's another thing too.
I'm better than you guys.
So exactly. So the idea is like I don't drink or do drugs anymore, but I did, right?
Right.
I fucking had a good time.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of things that were regrettable. Fucking why I drank alcohol.
Yeah.
Never went fucking racist, dude.
Yeah, so that's like the explaining away. It's like when you do something horrible and you're like, well, I was drunk. It's like,
Do you know how many things, and I saw this on like, because, you know, my social media, obviously, like there's a lot of parallels with boxing, like with people in my community, and they're like, you know, he fucked up, you know? And it's like, not really, dude. Like, that's your character, dude.
Yeah.
So, and we always talked about Ryan previously, and we're like, is it an act? It's not an act.
It's
like,
definitely
he
not
clearly
an act,
has some fucking issues.
Because at this point, like, because it before, if it's an act to sell fucking poopy pants fucking Haney fight, that's one thing. But like, what's the payoff now?
What
You're just
demographic are you?
That
was terrible. So it was horrific. The shit he was saying. It's completely. You can't apologize for it. And there was guys at the gym, big fans of his. And the first thing I said, I was like, hey, buddy, how's it? And he's like, whoa, no, don't touch me with that. Like, he's done. Like, I'm done with him. And then, so the homeboy misses weight. He tests positive for drugs. And now he's an overt racist that appears to have a substance abuse problem.
But what was the consequence? Was it something?
WBC stripped him entirely. Well, not stripped him.
No. And this I've never heard of before.
I hadn't heard of this either.
And so for those who don't know, and I figure most of you guys do, the WBC has banned him from fighting for WBC.
Well, Mauricio said that Ryan Garcia is expelled from all WBC activities, citing discrimination.
So now my thing is, if he backpedals on that, that's going to be a fucking bad look for WBC, because it's not like you can't be unracist. Dude.
Well,
like,
you know what?
I understand funny? There's redeeming things you can do.
No. Because we saw a taste of this to it. It was not this extreme, but
I'm waiting for it.
No, seriously. Who's the flat Earth motherfucker in the NBA? Kyrie had that anti-Semitic shit where the
Jaylen Brown barely associates with him.
Hold on for a second. And he listen, but he was banned for a hot second, and Adam Silver or whatever allowed him to do like a soft apology tour.
But here's the difference on the jump. It said if you do X, Y, and Z, you can come back.
You know why? The NBA has a union, and he was like a big union guy, and they protect. Whereas the WBC doesn't, and it wasn't as illicit, and he wasn't it wasn't just overtly it was, but it wasn't as overt. It wasn't.
Yeah,
you could apologize for it. You could explain it away a little bit more.
His was
more cryptic.
Ignorance is what I kind of put his.
Kyrie's?
Yeah.
I think he's an anti-Semitic piece of shit.
I also think he's.
Hot take. I don't give a fuck, dude. Fuck Kyrie.
If he never left the seas, I wonder what your take would have been.
People were hating on him while he was here.
Yeah, I fucking hated Kyrie here, dude. He's
The
a
flat
piece of
Earth
shit.
stuff I can get behind, but like the
Well, the Earth's
anti-Semitism.
flat. No shit,
yeah.
dude. That's a joke.
yeah.
If you cut that up, by the way, to make it look like I, as a science teacher, think the Earth's flat, I'm gonna be absolutely fucking bullshit.
I would not do that. I care about our readings.
Yeah, the Earth.
Explain
the Earth
away
is
the
round.
firmament. Then.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
I mean, if you believe that shit. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, no, he supported that crazy film. That was like the big thing.
Yeah. HB, what we got? Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I think so.
My favorite Filipino
like this
basketball
one.
player
I'm more into his politics.
is singing.
Does he sing?
Oh yeah.
Pacquiao looking for a welterweight title fight against Mario Barrios.
So Pacquiao came out, and this is recent, late June, early July. He wants to fight Barrios. He said he beat Thurman at 40. Wants to beat Barrios at 45. A WBC, I think, too. WBC's having a day. I want to say it's WBC, but Rob, if you can fact check that, I want to say it's a WBC title. But if you're Manny Pacquiao and you have an accountant that hangs out with Khabib,
Dude, I think he does. I think he doesn't have anyone.
no, I know that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
but so if you're Manny Pacquiao, this isn't the fight. Well, go ahead. You.
I'm of two minds.
Yeah.
Number one, he did beat Keith Thurman at 40. Keith Thurman was pretty good. And
Yeah.
he dropped his ass and he looked great. That's one half of it. And he's not totally damaged goods.
No, and he did an exhibition.
Yes.
It looked fine.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
WBC.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, welterweight champion since 2024.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. On the flip side, leading up to this pod, I liked the pre-pod meeting. I met with you and Rob, and I was like, you know what I should do is go to the hospital tomorrow because I feel so unwell, and I'm 39. So I just being alive is
waking
hard
up,
at 39. And Pacquiao's like, you know what I should do is get my brain smashed in at 45. Now I like to think me and Pacquiao are in the same circle of fitness.
So I'll say this. So there's been no concrete allegations of performance-enhancing drugs.
No, concrete proof.
Yeah. I mean,
Pacquiao
went up 38 weight
from
classes.
minimum weight to having one punch knockout power in both hands. I would say that, yeah, his vitamin regimen is probably pretty good.
So,
but do steroids cause kidney stones? Because I think I have one.
Might have more than one. How does
Look
that
at,
work?
oh my God, dude. These cameras, we might have to zoom out, dude. That's crazy. So, yeah, I think Manny Pacquiao, is a combination of a lot of things. He's a terrible basketball player. He's a questionable politician, and he's very poor.
Is his legacy already set in stone?
Yeah.
Of course it is. So what the fuck are you doing?
He's poor.
Then why are you fighting a legitimate WBC fighter instead of going to Japan like Floyd and fighting fucking Japanese influencers?
It might be a matter of his star isn't as bright. You know what I mean?
Manny Pacquiao in Japan? Put him in the fucking the Tokyo Dome? They don't clap. It's fucking weird.
It is weird.
It's dead silent.
Yeah.
But yeah, have him fight some fucking K-pop star. I'm
Rob's trying not to laugh into the microphone, and we caught it.
You're trying to
because
misfit
you just suggested that Manny Pacquiao fights some K-pop star. That is the craziest. Rob nose whistled into the microphone while you go, just have him fight. I like that you're like, be fucking smart about this, dude. Have Manny Pacquiao as a 45-year-old man go to Japan and fight a Korean pop singer.
Have you? So fucking.
What are you talking about? Did you have a stroke?
If you
what
are
are we talking
someone
about?
who has been famous, you don't have to be American. If you have been famous in America,
yes,
and you are past your shelf life,
mm-hmm.
if you go to Japan,
yes,
there is something that is televised that you can monetize.
Why are you fighting a K-pop star though?
You don't have to. You can go on a game show where if you sing the wrong fucking thing, you get a pie in the face. It doesn't matter. I've watched Marty Friedman and fucking
You're so lucky.
Paul Gilbert giving guitar lessons, speaking fluent Japanese to each other.
Marty Friedman is a Japanese citizen, and Paul Gilbert speaks fluent Japanese.
Why? Because the
Japanese love shredders,
baby. Yeah, because hair metal kind of faded in the 80s, and Marty Friedman was yes, that's a little
scarified. You like that? Racer X.
Yeah, so Mr. Big not touring too comfortably in America right now. Paul Gilbert doing okay on Japanese game shows. You don't tell me right now that Manny Pacquiao couldn't climb up a greased up fake mountaintop to hit a buzzer at something and people wouldn't lose their fucking minds.
Somewhere Ryan Garcia is hoping this goes viral, so he'd be like, "Thank God somebody's less culturally sensitive than I am right now." A greased up volcano, Manny Pacquiao.
I'm not saying that
sounds like a children's book.
Listen,
Manny Pacquiao and the greased up volcano. I'm not saying
Japanese fucking culture is.
No, I understand.
That's what they do in their backyard.
They're very big on like past stardom.
Yeah. And they have the fucking best game shows of all time.
That is true.
Takeshi's Castle, literally, we Americanized it and just dubbed it because it was
What was that called?
Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
That was so good.
Yeah, Kenny Blankenship and
Gay Ledouche.
Vic Romano.
Gay Ledouche, wasn't it?
Gay Ledouche was the commentator.
Yeah.
But that's Takeshi's Castle.
That's true.
Which is literally 99% of that show was fucking greased up mountains where you hit a buzzer.
Here's the thing though, as far as the fight itself, like I wouldn't put it past Manny Pacquiao to be competitive though.
I understand. First of all, I agree. Second, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pay for it, but I'm gonna pay for it, but I'll watch it. Crack stream. But
he streams.
Yeah. So if he wins.
Yeah.
How much money do you think he possibly win? A couple million?
Yeah.
So he wins a couple million. Is he going to defend it at 45 years old? He's not also, George Foreman. Dude.
You're also like in a stage of your career too, where it's like a stage of your career financially, where you're like, oh, here's a couple million. Here's the money I owe. Like it's just gone immediately too.
So now, you can live in a studio.
Where do you think a fight like that takes place? Like Vegas still? Probably, right?
Yeah, probably Vegas. I mean, if you could get some sort of like Abu Dhabi,
yeah, I know,
kind of Dubai,
then you can like tax shelter it too.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Even like Florida has tax sheltering and stuff too, but you can't really sell a fight like that to Florida. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's to me the reason it's not as exciting for HB is like Pacquiao like led too clean of a life, and he didn't have like a tremendous downfall like some of these other HB guys. He doesn't have the Terry Crews edge,
and he doesn't like you said, like he took like he's
the stuff he does.
He's still articulate. He didn't take a tremendous amount of damage.
The stuff he does,
he's more like a Ray Leonard than like a Meldrick Taylor.
Yeah, but Ray Leonard didn't like try to play basketball and become.
He came out of retirement 4 fucking times, dude.
He didn't try to play. Have you seen Manny Pacquiao play
Dancing
basketball?
With the Stars. Wasn't Leonard on Dancing with the Stars?
Who gives a shit, dude? Have you seen Manny Pacquiao play basketball?
He's very bad. His shorts are too big. He's got the like the early
they're like
2000s Allen Iverson,
100%. Where they're like just years behind. Where they're just like, all right, like you know, like when those countries get like the Super Bowl loser jerseys. He looked like he got like and one shorts from like 2001.
Zubas
but he like when he dribbles, he like looks at the ball.
Yeah,
you know, like in like fucking 5th grade, they're like dribble with your fingers.
They treat him like
Manny, eyes up on the court, and then like they like let him shoot and shit, and everyone's like, yeah, Manny Pacquiao scored. He's like, yeah, I'm fucking great.
Who's the Russian fucking leader? Putin. They treat him like Putin. You know, like Putin, like Putin just wins everything, or like Kim Jong-un.
Pacquiao's not going to kill your family.
No, but they still let him fucking.
Yeah. Manny Pacquiao kills your family if he loses the basketball
game. He's like super polite about it, but like,
so Pacquiao is fighting in Japan on July 28th.
There you go, because I knew he was fighting. He did fight an exhibition.
It's a 3-round exhibition.
There you go. It's perfect.
He says this is not an exhibition. This is a fight, a 3-round fight, and we will be looking for the knockout for this fight. So you better watch.
Can I ask, is the purse released for that? Because that would be interesting. But that's exactly, so you nailed it, Mark. So listen, Homeboy's having his cake and eating it too, dude.
No, he should only just have
his cake and not eat it.
But so like Floyd's the best when it comes to exhibitions because he's always like, hey, like we're going to have some fun, and then fucking kills
No, what happened
dudes.
was little Homeboy kickboxer dude like got cute, and Floyd was like, fuck you, and got rid of him.
Slept him.
At Ryzen. Yeah.
But I bet Pacquiao's he's gonna do his stupid smiley thing and be like all fun and stuff and be like a janky
and do like
lefty.
the Mongolian chop double punch on him and stuff. Yeah, I could see it. But that makes sense. So yeah, double whammy, dude. But he must be hurting, dude, if he's doing exhibitions and this. And I also like that it's a 3-rounder. He's like, no, it's real. 3 rounds. 3 rounds, dude. Shit out of my face. That's our H-Beep. Next up, we got Doug Fischer, editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine. Mark and I, growing up, had our back copies of Ring Magazine.
Matt went out to buy something one time. I remember this, and he just showed. He's like, I got a fucking stack full of Ring magazines.
Hundreds of
copies. It was like the greatest day of his life.
Ring magazines that have now been at the gym that are just pristine condition, that just stay in a box, but they are so nice. And
huge interview. We're super excited. Brought again, in part by our good friends and sponsors, Shadow Fight Goods.
The best gloves in the game.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, we're bona fide now. Ring Magazine is taking our calls.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm super excited. I think my old man's more excited about this than anybody on planet Earth because he's been reading it since literally the 1950s. Like, we're super excited, man.
Huge shout out again to our good friend and sponsor, Shadow Fight Goods. We love their gear. You're gonna love their gear too. They gave us a very special code just for our listeners. It's TTFS24. Check out their store. You're gonna love their stuff.
We are here with Editor-in-Chief Doug Fischer, whose room looks oddly like my room. Between the adornment of Ring magazines and comic books in the background, there are some incredible parallels. Doug, thank you for being here, my man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
No, it's our pleasure.
All right, which one of you is Matt? Which one is Mark?
I am Matt. This is Mark.
Okay, what's up, guys? What's up, Nolan Brothers?
Yes. So my parents did us no favors by naming identical twins Matt and Mark, right off the jump.
Yep.
Yeah. So in terms of being the editor-in-chief of easily the most prolific boxing magazine in the history of the sport, how does one become editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine? Like, what was...
I never thought...
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to be in the right place at the right time. But I mean, to be in the right place at the right time, you have to be immersed in boxing. You got to love boxing. You have to. I mean, there's different types of boxing fans. There's fans that just follow one boxer. There's fans that just follow boxing from their region or their country. There's fans that are into the history. There's fans that are just into the industry. Business. They're more, that's more entertaining to them. How a fight comes together or why a fight doesn't come together is more interesting to them than the actual fight itself. There's fans that just crave action and violence, and then there's like the aficionados that are all about the finer points of boxing and the sweet science. And I think, if you're interested in even just being a contributor to Ring Magazine, you have to love it all.
Yeah. So Ring Magazine obviously is iconic, but even maybe more iconic is the ring belt. So you talk about, there's so many like alphabet soup champions, but there's one ring champion. Like, what is the process? I know there's an editorial team that sits down and does the rankings, and I've looked at the criteria, but what does it really look like when they're sitting down trying to figure out, especially the pound for pound rankings, which I feel is a little more subjective than some of the other things?
There's no right answer for pound. But the championship policy is, it's based on the rankings. So obviously the ring ratings panel is a big part of that. The editorial board is a big part of that. The editorial board is just part of the panel. And in the past, the panel was sort of an advisory board, and the decisions came down to the editorial board or just the editor-in-chief. But the way I do it is just democratic. The editorial board, which is myself, the editor-in-chief, the managing editor, the senior editor, the folks who put out the magazine or the staffers of the magazine. We're all just panelists, and our vote counts as much as anybody else's. If the fight between number one and number two, for whatever reason, can't happen, and number one winds up fighting number three, the panel, then it goes to a vote to the panel. Is this number three worthy of fighting for the Ring Magazine Championship? And if there's not that much difference between number three and number two, generally speaking, the panel votes yes. But if there's a gulf, if number one and number two are clearly ahead of the rest of the division, and you have that a lot. I know we had that when Josh Taylor fought Regis Prograis. Like, they were number one and number two before they entered the World Boxing Super Series, which unified, two major belts. So when they faced each other in the finals, it was easy. They were both champions. I think Prograis was the WBA title holder, and I think Taylor was the IBF. And then the winner of that had to fight Jose Ramirez, who he had two belts. He had the WBC and the WBO belt to become undisputed. But the belt was on the line when Prograis and Taylor fought, because they were the consensus number one and number two, not just by the ring, but by all the sort of the media rankings, ESPN and the Transnational Boxing Ratings Board. So It was that was easy. It's easy when it's number one versus number two.
Yeah, so I looked again. I've read through the criteria. And like for vacancies, it's like if they're in a different weight class for 2 fights, if due to inactivity, due to performance enhancing drugs, something like when the WBC speaks out about something like Ryan Garcia, and they're like, this dude isn't like he's not a can't be fighting for WBC stuff. Does that influence your ring? No,
not at all.
Okay, there you go.
No, not at all. Cool. No, we don't follow what the sanctioning bodies do. I mean, Garcia wasn't in our rankings anyways.
Yeah.
He's been fighting, he was rated as a lightweight, but he hadn't weighed anywhere close to lightweight since the Tank Davis fight. And he's really a welterweight. And obviously he can't make 140 pounds. So because he missed weight in fighting for Devin Haney's WBC title, he wasn't, even though he beat Devin Haney, while that win was still on the record books, we couldn't rank him because he didn't weigh in as a junior welterweight. He weighed in technically as a welterweight. He came in 3 pounds plus overweight. And then there was the positive drug test, and he was suspended by the New York State Athletic Commission. So when a commission suspends a boxer for performance enhancing drug use, a fighter gets dropped from the rankings. And occasionally, even if a fighter is not suspended by the sanctioning bodies or by the commissions, we'll drop them. If we don't find out that a fighter tested positive for a performance enhancing drug until after the fight, we won't count that. Like if a fighter wins the Ring Magazine title, we had that with a fighter named Louis Neri. He traveled to Japan like 5 or 6 years ago and fought a really good Japanese champion and obliterated him, knocked him out, but then tested positive for a performance enhancing drug. And we're like, no, that wasn't an even playing field. The WBC cleared the guy because they said this performance enhancing drug is a lot like clenbuterol, and it's in Mexican beef. So he trained in Mexico, so he probably got food contamination. And we're kind of like, even if that's true, and you really don't know that unless you guys really investigate him, even if that's true, he still competed with the benefit of that drug being in his system. So we stripped him of the Ring Magazine title.
You know what? Any time that we talk about ratings, guys, we always have a special segment for that, which I can roll, and I've been dying to do that. Hold on a second.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah. You know what? You get that a lot with the sanctioning body rankings because, what is the criteria? I think a lot of times getting into the top 10 of all 4 major sanctioning bodies, it's holding one of their minor titles. So holding like their Continental Americas belt or their gold belt or their silver belt. And then you defend that a few times and that moves you up their rankings. So it's different. It's with Ring Magazine. It's just merit. It's just their fight performances.
Awesome. Rob has a game that he'd like to play, and I think Rob's going to explain it to all of us.
Oh, that's great. So this game, it's called Multi-Fight Steel. So there'll be a free agent fighter, and you're going to see that on the right, and then on the left will be a list of promoters. Our little wheels are going to stop when Matt pushes the button that you see down there in the corner there, and we'll spin these things, and okay. You get to play promoter, and you guys, if you want to play promoter afterwards, we can do that too. All right, ready? Who wants to, let's spin the first one.
Not yet. Oh, did we hit it first, Rob?
Oh yeah.
All right, sorry. That was on me. Sorry.
So Bob Arum, make your pitch to Canelo Alvarez.
Wow. So if I'm Arum, Alvarez, God, who does Arum have for? Oh, well, you know what? Arum promotes Artur Beterbiev.
That's the name I said. Listen, that's what I told Rob. Rob poo-pooed this. I like this too. Keep going. You're on my side. Let's go.
I say, kid, it's obvious you want to be light heavyweight champion of the world. You went up to light heavyweight to fight Sergey Kovalev, who's long in the tooth, and you beat him, and that's huge for your legacy, made you a 4-division champion. You tried it again with Dmitry Bivol, did not work out for you. You didn't look good, and the guy probably has your number, but check it out. I got this guy, a fellow Russian named Artur Beterbiev, who is a steamroller, and he's a natural light heavyweight, and he's a pressure fighter, harder pressure than you. He's a different kind of fighter. He's going to grind this guy down. He's going to stop him late. He's going to become the undisputed light heavyweight champion. Now, you've won one belt there before, the WBO belt against Kovalev, and people didn't give you any credit because they said, Kovalev had been beaten. He'd been knocked out a couple of times. They said he was long in the tooth. They said he was an alcoholic, that he wasn't dedicated. Nobody can say this about my guy Beterbiev. If Beterbiev does what we know he's going to do against Bivol, he's going to be undisputed light heavyweight champion. His Excellency, a good friend of mine, Turki Al-Ashik, he loves Beterbiev. There's going to be a lot of Saudi money for a showdown between Artur Beterbiev and Canelo Alvarez. And listen here, this guy lives a clean lifestyle. He's as dedicated as you are, but he's pushing 40. Or by the time he gets this victory, he will be 40. This fight is going to take a little bit out of him, but I think the stage is set. It's perfect. It's a perfect time for you to do something incredible and solidify your legacy. It was one of the all-time greats. Canelo Alvarez versus Artur Beterbiev. We can do it anywhere in the world you want. The Saudi money will be there. You write your own check, and we think you can beat him. We think you can beat our guy Beterbiev, but you got to sign with us to get.
So it's
fight.
A multi-fight deal. How much money and how many fights are you doing this? Imagining that this fight that you're talking about is at the end of the contract.
I'm guessing for Alvarez, I don't think he does more than 3 fights at a time. It doesn't matter who it is. He likes being a free agent. I say 2 or 3 bouts, and I say the catch is, and we'll see if Canelo would do it, because I do think Canelo's reached the stage where he doesn't want hard fights. He wants money. He feels like he's sort of established his legacy. But we say you got to fight Beterbiev first, and then you can defend against whoever you want. Or it's a 2-fight deal. If Beterbiev wins the fight,
rematch clause. I knew it.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I think when you were to say. Yep.
Rob, that sounds like a familiar hot take from earlier today, by the way. Doug and I think similarly, so I appreciate that. Should I spin it again?
Yeah, let's do another one.
Ooh. Oh.
Floyd Mayweather, Shakur Stevens. Wow. So, well, Floyd's on the outs with Tank, so he can't promise that fight, but he can promise that as a former boxer with Shakur's style, being a pure technician, a pure boxer, not necessarily somebody who knocks guys out, not necessarily somebody who's out there to appeal to all the bloodthirsty ghouls out there. He can say, I appreciate you. I truly appreciate what you do as an Olympic medalist who probably should have been fighting in the gold medal round, and he could tell him, hey, I thought you should have won the gold medal. As somebody who broke down and cried, in the Olympics, I know how it is, and I know how it is for everybody to hate on you, and I'll have your back no matter what. And I know how to listen. I'll give you. You're already a great fighter, but I'll teach you how to be a proper heel. You're not doing it the right way. You're just going back and forth to people on Twitter. There's a certain way to do things. I'm gonna give you a certain lifestyle. It doesn't have to be real, but I'm gonna give you the appearance of a certain lifestyle. You're gonna travel with me. We're gonna be like the dynamic duo out there. But I'm gonna sing your praises to the media, and I'm gonna give you the shine that you truly deserve, because I'm the only person who can possibly appreciate you and your genius, because I'm a genius too.
He turned down a 5-fight, $15 million deal from Top Rank. So how much do you think he's looking for? How much? I mean, having somebody like Andre Ward in his corner the other night, I imagine he's chirping in his ear a little bit about knowing your worth, son. So how much do you think that number is?
I don't know. I think I think the way, and this just happens with fighters. It happens with, you could talk to Oscar De La Hoya. You talk to him now about Bob Arum, he loves the old man. But when he was in his prime as a fighter, it just happens. Like, they get developed by these guys, and they only see their side to it. They see their dedication, what they have to sacrifice, their hard work in the gym. They're the ones getting in the ring, and they're taking the lumps. They're taking the lumps in sparring, and they're getting in the ring. They're taking the lumps there. And they want to be number one. They want to call the shots. And it just naturally happens. They're going to butt heads with their promoter if they are developed into a big attraction, or in Oscar De La Hoya's case, become bona fide superstars. Even though Oscar and Top Rank, they worked very well together, Oscar wanted out of there. By the end of the 90s, he wanted to do his own thing, and he broke away, got out of his contract, and I think he had 2 fights where his promoter was the guy who started Univision. I forget the guy's name. Yeah, he's a billionaire, whatever. And it was okay. He won like he won the WBC 154-pound title against Javier Castillejo. Oh no, his first fight was Arturo Gatti, and then it was Castillejo. And they were okay, but there was something missing or whatever. And Oscar even realized it and went back to Top Rank on a fight-by-fight basis. So when he got back with Top Rank, the fight with Fernando Vargas was made in 2002. And I think he stayed with Top Rank until the Bernard Hopkins fight. And then he said, okay, now I'm going to start my own thing. And I'm taking Bernard, guy who just beat me. I'm going to take Bernard. The other guy who beat me, who shouldn't have beat me, Shane Mosley, I'm going to sign him and all of that. But it just happens. It happened with Tank and Floyd Mayweather. And it happened with Terrence Crawford and Bob Arum, and now it's happened with Shakur Stevenson. And I bring all this up to say, just because Shakur turned down $3 million per fight for a 5-fight deal with Arum, doesn't mean he wouldn't accept the exact same deal with somebody else. It's the grass is always greener, on the other side of the fence, and and sometimes these guys got to break away from Arum before they appreciate Arum or whatever. But I don't think it was all about the money between Shakur and Top Rank. I just think it was that natural. It happens with really exceptional fighters who have either become attractions or believe, as Floyd Mayweather did, that they should be attractions by now. I should be a superstar. I'm not, and you're to blame. They need somebody to blame. And that's why I think Mayweather could actually sign him, because he said, I went through the same thing that you're going through right now with Arum. I stepped away, took control of my own career, and I partnered up with Al Heyman, and then I did become a superstar, and I became the richest, and I can do the same thing with you. And I just think that promise alone and that history that Mayweather has with Arum, I think he could actually sign him.
Nice.
That would be fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he can coach him on being a proper heel.
Yes. Spin it, Rob.
Yeah, let's spin another one.
Oh.
Eddie Hearn, Terrence Crawford. Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Eddie, this fight that's coming up on August 3rd, Terrence Crawford challenge in the WBA 154-pound champ, Israel Madrimov. Madrimov is an Eddie Hearn guy, and although this card, which is funded by His Excellency, it involves fighters from all over. Jared Anderson's with Top Rank. A lot of them are PBC guys, right? There's Andy Ruiz. I don't know who Big Baby Miller is with. He might be a free agent, but they're all from, there's a bunch of different promoters coming together. I mean, Virgil Ortiz was supposed to be fighting Tim Tszyu on this card, and Virgil Ortiz is a Golden Boy guy. Eddie Hearn is going to be the promoter's license that His Excellency is using, and he's going to be the promoter who's coordinating all of the on-site media events and basically the nuts and bolts promotion. And so I think Crawford is going to get a taste of what that's like. I know Matchroom has a lot of fighters, maybe the most fighters signed than any other promoter. Maybe PBC exceeds them, although PBC has lost a lot of guys in recent years. But whatever, he has a huge stable. He's truly international. He goes everywhere. And they're able to do it because they run a tight ship. They are a very well-run organization. And I'm going to give this to Sir Eddie. That dude is charismatic. That guy can talk. He has a personality that is made for on camera. I think he could actually be a broadcast talent if he wanted to be. He's such a good talker. He's probably the best on-camera talker among promoters, or the most charismatic on-camera talker among promoters since Don King. He basically has Don King's charisma. Totally different dude. Don King was from the streets. He'd done time. He killed 2 people. Eddie Hearn is private school. Grew up rich. He's British, but he's like Don King if Don King was George Michael. He's got like the look of George Michael, and he can, he has fun with stuff. But he hustles his ass off, and he can talk. That was one of Don King's greatest strengths, apart from just being brilliant and ruthless, and great with media, even when they hated him, because he loved it. All press was good press to Don. One of his greatest strengths is that he could talk a fighter into accepting less money. He could go and talk to somebody like Hasim Rahman, who had deals after upsetting Lennox Lewis to become the heavyweight champion. He had multi-million deals with either HBO or Showtime. Both networks wanted to sign him to exclusive contracts, and HBO had a great package for him, and Showtime, which had Mike Tyson at that time, had Tyson, imagine a Hasim Rahman Mike Tyson fight, but they had a bunch of other heavyweights, and their deal was just as lucrative, and Rockman could have just pit the networks against each other and just waited it out until someone offered them crazy money, and who does he sign with? It's Don King. Don King can talk that talk. I'm saying Hearn can talk that talk. He's not like a street guy, but he can talk that talk. He can make a fighter feel so good and so beautiful and so perfect. They're like, oh my God, you appreciate me. You really get me. But on top of that, he does write a really tight ship. But Hearn can take you anywhere. Hearn, Hearn literally has a promoter's license in every jurisdiction on the freaking planet. He's tight with his excellency. So there's a money guy there. And it wouldn't happen right away, but he does. He just signed Ennis. He just signed Jerron Boots Ennis, and that could be an incredible fight. Now, Ennis needs to win a couple more, but I think Hearn can do that. Hearn can get Ennis busy, can build up his fan base, at least locally in Philadelphia. Last night was a great start for Boots. 14,000 inside that arena. That's great. He hadn't fought there since he was a prospect, so that's a big deal. Like maybe in 2 or 3 fights, that's a fight that could be offered to the public, and the public would take it. It's old lion versus young lion, and both guys have the look of just like they just both look unbeatable or whatever. And he would sell the fight like that. So I think Hearn just tells Crawford what he wants to hear, but also Crawford experiences the way Eddie promotes a fight and what a tight ship he runs in August in LA. And he might say, you know what? Maybe this is the guy.
Mm-hmm. I think we should have the Nolan spin one for the Nolan. You guys play promoter for this one, okay?
All right.
You
won. Now I'm worried, dude. Nolan Brothers and Gervonta Davis. Well,
what would you guys be offering Gervonta Davis?
Yeah, so first of all, I do have a promoter's license in Massachusetts, which was a pain in the ass to get. I could offer him. I would say this. I could offer him definitely lucrative fights in terms of competition. I feel like he would be. He would have favorable matchups in which that he wouldn't be challenged particularly difficult in the Boston market.
Greater Boston area.
I would keep him. I would keep the media at bay. So any acts of strangulation would be, away from any cameras. So I would do that. So we'd make sure that was under wraps. And I would also. Anything you would add to this, Mark?
No,
this package deal.
I'll
so
let you
far, I
run
feel
with
like
it,
this
yeah.
is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then from there, I think I would I would give him direct access to. I would read off all Ryan Garcia's tweets to him, all his X accounts. So just he'd have direct access to everything happening in Ryan's world.
And we can't necessarily offer the same amount of money, but we'd Denny's vouchers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Dunkin' Donuts guy.
Regional, yeah.
So it's things that I don't think he's necessarily getting right now.
Yeah.
And also, I know that there's a lot of promoters, like Eddie Hearn is very tall, much
handsome.
taller than I am.
Yep.
I've never, unlike Don King, I've never killed people in cold blood and then claimed that it was self-defense in underground gambling worlds. But none of these people are identical twins. You have to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, promoters could offer Tank money, fights that matter,
fame, stuff that we wouldn't necessarily be able to.
I wouldn't even consider it. I'd be like, Tank, you can. That's not what we do here.
Yes, but keep in mind that our last show at Royale Boston, the blue locker room was a kitchen.
Yeah.
So we could put him in the red locker room, which was not a kitchen.
So
he's got that. So I think we would offer him. So I would do a package deal. We would do a one fight deal.
Yep.
We would put him in the red locker room, which was not a kitchen.
Yep.
And then we'd talk about some Dunkin' Donuts incentives. I think that's fair. That's
some sort of tune-up fight with an Uber driver.
Yeah, maybe a daytime carpenter. We've done a lot of that for some of the. Yeah,
so
nice. I'd say that's what we'd look at.
All right, let's spin one more for Doug. One more for Doug.
Wow.
So Bruce, if you're Bruce Wayne, how are you getting Andre Ward out of retirement? What are you offering? Because he has unlimited money.
Doug, can you tell the one guy in the room that doesn't read any comic books is very clearly Rob, our producer Rob, and he just thought, oh, this guy reads comics. Let's say Bruce Wayne.
Hey, can you give me another comic book hero that's got millions upon billions?
I don't know.
And
I
trillions of
don't think
dollars?
Bruce Wayne. I don't think Bruce Wayne could sign Andre Ward with the help of his alter ego. He would need Batman. So if he doesn't want Andre Ward to know that he's Batman, that could be interesting. The billionaire comes and says, I'll pay you whatever you want to get paid. And I think I can entice whatever fighter you want to get in the ring, such as Canelo Alvarez. I think I even have the money for that. But then he would need to leave the room, and Batman would need to come in and say, I understand you. You're a serious dude. Because Andre is, I don't know, have you guys ever met Andre?
Nah.
Yes.
Have you guys met Andre?
We have not.
Rob
we have not.
He makes himself. I mean, there's serious fighters, there's serious people, and then there's Andre Ward. And you stare in his eyes, that's like to stare into the abyss. And I imagine that's kind of when Bruce Wayne puts that cowl on and becomes Batman, same thing. He's motivated by obvious childhood trauma. And I don't know if you've read Andre Ward's book. I haven't read it yet, but I heard it's excellent. He had to overcome a lot of stuff as a child. And I think that it's part of his character, what made him just so serious and so unbreakable and so unflappable and so steadfast and so ultra focused to the point where not a whole lot of personality there. I don't think Batman is Mr. Personality. So I think they could kind of come together hey, I'm not Mr. Happy. I'm not trying to please anybody. I'm not trying to smile at kids, whatever. You and I, they stare at each other. They both see the abyss and yes, okay. So I think it couldn't be Bruce Wayne Promotions. It'd have to be Batman Promotions. Bat family, whatever it has to be, Sons of the Batman, Son of Bat. Nice. I don't know. But I think Wayne would need the help of his alter ego to get Andre to sign the dotted line.
I love it.
Doug, it's not that it was fun interviewing you, but I fucking want to be your best friend. Between the boxing shit and the comic books, I can't tell you. I literally don't want this fucking day to end.
Yeah.
That was the most informative. I've never been like more in awe of someone's like knowledge. I just literally want to talk to you about fucking boxing and comic books for the next 2 days. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time and how much of an honor it was to have someone, just as you read Ring Magazine, like we read Ring Magazine and now we're reading guys like you. So the fact that you took time out of your day to talk to guys like us, it really was an honor and I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. No, thank you. Thank you. This was really enjoyable. Please have me back.
We will.
Yeah, please,
and now
we'd
that's
love
on
to.
tape. That's on record. Rob cut that as a promo. Doug says he'll be back. So he has to be back. That's going to be on his conscience. So I appreciate it. So that was fucking awesome. Doug's the coolest guy ever. So the thing with Doug, like I was saying off air, that I have a unbelievable knowledge of boxing history. Like even as we were talking, like Matthew Saad Muhammad, I'm like Matthew Franklin, blah, blah, blah. So the fact that Doug can just, he's like, oh yeah, like I know his zodiac sign. Like the guy knows, he's so wildly knowledgeable. It's like intimidating. So he's like, oh yeah, like he signed to this promotion. And
Before we go, so real quick, shout out to Shadow Fight Goods, our sponsor, for making interviews like that possible. Also, if you could just like and subscribe, it's the easiest way to get more interviews with guys like Doug on the show.
Like Doug, which is unbelievable.
But yeah, he's fantastic. He's got a great sense of humor too.
If there's ever been something that is deserving of a backyard breakdown, you have found it. So you send me clips. We are part of a group chat.
Yeah.
And that group chat is called what?
Sleevey Wonder? Or is it the
I
other
don't believe
one?
it's Sleevey Wonder. I believe it's Death and Murder.
Yes,
Is
we're
the
a
name of
part.
the group chat. And I sometimes abstain from clicking on it.
I will also say that it is largely not Death and Murder that you see
It's
there.
just the name of the group chat.
Yeah.
We also have a group chat called Scum Dogs of the Universe. There's no Scum Dogs or Celestial Talk. It's just the name of the chat.
So anyway, I found a clip that was wild.
Mark
that was,
sent it. I fucking laughed harder than I've ever laughed in my life.
So obviously this power slap, which is the dumbest fucking sport on the it's ridiculous. It's so
the
dumb.
pinnacle of idiocracy.
But I found like the RC Cola of power slap.
I kind of always kicked around the idea of a farm league for power slap. Like in the idea that it's like, okay, so like I think of like the Natural or like Field of Dreams or some shit. Like you're a kid hitting the
In the
baseball in the
grapefruit league.
backyard. Yeah,
Like-
and then eventually like, you know, they're like, son, you got a gift. And like, then you like fucking, you know, you're a high school baseball star and then you go to college and then eventually. So I imagine that's that story playing out as a power slapper.
And somebody sitting in the bar and be like, that guy's in power slap. It's like, I'm not yet.
Not yet.
I'm in slap fist, but
And
I'll
it's
tell you
like-
right now.
And it's like, he's in the crowd in Slapfest 31 and they're like, get fucking Stevie or get, what's his name?
So it's concrete pour
Concrete Pour.
and
Guys.
FPS.
No, Concrete Finisher.
Concrete finisher and FPS. So
Which
FPS,
is, I assume, first person shooter.
I presume.
Guys, like USA.
Yeah.
USA.
So anyway, so I didn't catch the excuse me for not watching the entire fest of slapping.
Such a fucking casual.
But I jumped to near the finish line.
the grand finale.
FPS is up, and you line them up 3 times, and concrete finishers got
Visible
a
mouse.
huge mouse under his eye, little bit of blood.
Commentators concerned. They say his vision's impaired.
FPS, bang.
Hold on.
Smashes him in the face.
Stop there. Where? Give me setting.
I would say it's like if you were at a larger restaurant.
Yeah.
And there's a hallway for a bathroom. So not like a bathroom, like not McDonald's where the bathroom's just there, but like if you're at like an Applebee's.
Correct. And in that Applebee's, on your way to the bathroom, there are cracked tiles and you can smell the piss of the bathroom.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's about that big.
Correct.
That corridor.
Yes.
So FPS just lining up.
Is there a crowd, Mark?
Oh, it's it's me and concrete finisher right here. I'm FPS.
You and Concrete Finisher.
I could touch maybe 20 people in the audience. So I first watch it and bang, slaps in the face, and concrete finishers, just blood everywhere. I'm like, oh, that's funny. This dude got slapped in the face and his face exploded.
and it's over. That's great.
Then you start to eyeball the crowd and you realize that it was like it was like a Redneck Gallagher show, that the entire audience was just covered in concrete finishers' blood.
So
So this girl is actively spitting on the ground. She got blood. The referee keeps on lifting his shirt up, wipes his face. One dude just ripped his shirt off entirely.
So listen,
and then FPS has a mouthpiece, and he's just sitting there. So he's just stunned, and he doesn't know what to do, and he keeps on saying sorry to no one.
The guy that slapped him, FPS, who again I assume is like first-person shooter video game. What?
First-person
slapper
has to be.
It could be. He fucking annihilates Concrete Finisher, right? His eye explodes to the point that Rob fucking goes, did he lose his eye? And I was like, I don't think he lost his eye, dude, right? The official, the judge, which, by the way, super prestigious position. He is right there.
In the blast
and it goes,
zone.
boom, right? He immediately lifts up his shirt, right? And his guts like showing. He's going like this, wiping his fucking face.
But you see it all
and then
over
this
the
chick is like, starts like crying and spitting. And then this other kid, I was like, I don't know if it's a boy or girl, whatever. It's a child. It's like 11 years old, just has fucking blood all over them. And this other guy just takes his fucking shirt off.
Dude, the title of the video is "Crowd Shocked as Slap Fighter's Eye Explodes."
That crowd should be shocked at fucking nothing.
His eyeball is intact. I'll tell you that he's gonna need like custom glasses. Like
I watched that
maybe for the rest of his life.
I watched that maybe 100 times. That's one of those things.
It just kept getting.
So
funnier.
I went to bed, right, and I'm like this. I'm like. I just started laughing, thinking about just the reaction, because it was like one of those things where it's like it splattered on them, and it took them a second, like, to fucking realize what had just transpired. It just shit all over them, dude.
But imagine if like FPS is like your favorite guy. You don't need an autograph. Like you don't need a frame. You have his opponent's blood in your mouth.
But
you won the day.
Imagine the testing that didn't occur before Slap Fight.
Who's the sanctioning body for slap? No, don't say Slap Fight. It's Slap Fest, I think.
Slap Fest 35, and isn't it called like Slap Fest 35? Onslaught, that's what it's called.
It is Slap Fight. Sorry, you were right. Slap Fight 35 Onslaught.
Look at the still. And even, all right, look at the wince of the referee, the official, squinting his eyes,
and they just
dude.
They don't know.
You know what I like, too? The official attire consists of a backwards baseball hat as well. I hate to say it, but like, because I'm a public school teacher, and I take great pride in being an educator, but there's schools in India that are like, I got to be honest with you guys, we're in a good spot.
I just see chemistry lessons all the time where they take an alkaline metal. They just take they take lithium and just throw it in water.
It's just, I just see like Russian schools of math, and they're just like kids are like, they're like wearing like all outfits, and they're like doing this, and they're like, hey, how's like the rest of the world doing? And they're like, we got to be honest with you, we feel pretty good about our how we're doing compared to America. And they're like, really? What makes you say that? And it's like,
Slapfest 35.
Did you see Slapfest 35? What is it called? Onslaught? They're like, no. How did Russian Concrete or how did Concrete Finisher do? They're like, oh, I'm glad you asked. FPS blew up his brains and it went into a child's mouth. So, and they're like, okay, back to quantitative comparisons. Yeah. So yeah, that's our backyard breakdown. My favorite segment in the history of the Toe-to-Toe Fight Show.
Oh, can we see if we can get FPS on?
Oh, Rob, if we could, I would give everything I own to get either Concrete Finisher or FPS or both of them on.
I'll make some phone calls.
Let's do it. Make some phone calls. I don't know. Yeah, you're like Cricket Wireless.
What was the one that chirped?
Yeah, the T-Mobile, Boost Mobile. Yeah, like boop, boop. Yeah, exactly. You know, so yeah. So that's awesome. Like and subscribe if you guys are interested in Concrete Finisher on Mark's Couch featuring Elle Brooke. We'll be here every week.
Bang.
Toe-to-Toe Fight Show. Mad Mark Nolan. Brought to you by producer extraordinaire Rob Blaloof. You guys are the best. We'll see ya. Be good.